Well, Manchester United took all 3 points at Stamford Bridge and they beat Chelsea by a single goal to nil. Cunha got it to maintain third position and their hold on Champions League qualification. So life under Michael Carrick is pretty damn good, isn't it? As far as United and their fans are concerned. What's happened to Chelsea? 6th on 48 points. The battle for a Champions League place is well and truly on. Also on 48 points, Brentford in 7th, also on 48 points, Bournemouth in 8th. On 47 points, Brighton 9th, Everton on 47 in 10th position. They're crowding up behind Chelsea. So all of a sudden, the race is on. And Chelsea absolutely need Champions League football. I'm not saying that. Cole Palmer's saying that. If we're not in the Champions League, says Palmer, a lot changes. Everything changes. We absolutely have to qualify for it. This was Liam Senior.
People don't want to hear me say how well we played and didn't win the game. We're here to win. There are many elements actually that the process of underlying things that we're looking into that suggest that if you stay in this process, we will win games of football. It doesn't look like it at the moment, but the reality is Manchester United have had one shot on a goal against 10 men and won a game 1-0, which should be pretty much impossible. It's not insurmountable, but it gives us a mountain to climb, and we have to go into Brighton with an idea that we have to win that game and kickstart the rest of our season.
Liam always seems to talk about process, Simon. Do you see the process?
Look, he obviously has a vision of how he wants his side to play, and he's developing his knowledge. I think there's very little doubt in my mind that there was always going to be an element of Liam Senior learning on the job. And that has a huge amount of risk attached to it. Now, obviously, they would have spent time looking at him. He's a different appointment than just taking Liam Senior from Strasbourg and people going, the hell did that come from? We know why this has come about. It's because Blue Co suggest they know the cut of this manager's jib. They've watched him work in Strasbourg and they think that he can work within the framework that they want him to work within at the same time as bring success. It was never in my mind that was going to be instantaneous. It was always going to be difficult. Now, whether Liam says what people think is the conventional wisdom of saying certain things, whether some of the language that he uses, whether he looks more studious than people like, all of these things are incidental. The real situation is, can he get games and overcome obstacles in games? And at this moment in time, he's running up against a brick wall. And it'll be interesting to see how much resolve the ownership have with their vision for what they believe Liam Senior was going to become. Because he wasn't the ready-made package. He could possibly have been the ready-made package. He's a sensible young manager that I happen to like quite a lot, and I think he's done relatively well wherever he's gone, whether that be Hull, whether it be with Derby with Wayne Rooney when he was really the brains behind the operation, whether it be with Strasbourg, or whether it be in an opportunity with Chelsea. But it was always going to be a challenge. It was always going to be a big job for him. It was always going to be something that was inherently focused upon by people because the moment he walked through the door. But what's happening now is Liam, when you look at his record, hasn't really at this moment in time beaten anybody besides Napoli perhaps, and Conte will tell you that's because he hasn't got any players, that Chelsea shouldn't have beaten. Yeah. And so that puts him in a difficult position.
They've lost 6 of the last 7 matches. I think the only one they've won was against Port Vale, which you obviously expect them. They need to win the FA Cup, but he's just set it up there. He set it up for me, really. If they can get to the Champions League now, it's 5 teams, of course, now. The coefficiency's changed back to what it was last year. I'm looking at some of the fixtures, Jim, and he did say it's a mountain to climb, and it certainly is. If he doesn't get there, then I suppose the rules change at Chelsea. The expectation is to be in the Champions League.
I mean, the worry is it not, without overstating it, they could fall out of Europe altogether.
Yeah, they could. I mean, they could get in the back door of
that pack behind them.
But the Champions League is what they're aiming for. They're a Champions League club, Jim. The expenditure there, the expectation. It was a good start for him. Yeah. But recently, to be 7 points behind. Liverpool right now, is simply not good enough.
Simon, I've met Todd Bowley with you. Yeah. And I've met Todd Bowley since, so I kind of know him to a degree. I don't know Behdad Iqbali. You do, and you were impressed. Yeah. When he says, as he said last week at a World Congress of Sports in LA, in Los Angeles, this is Iqbali. We've had a tough past 5-6 matches, but I think we're behind Liam. Of course, it's a results business, but we think he can be successful long term.
They have to qualify that. I mean, it's not the ideal language. I mean, when I say I was impressed by Behdad, it was because some of the things he said to me about the commercial operation and the way that they pay players and the manner in which they manage contracts, I thought was very sophisticated thinking. And that was my reaction to it. Now, do I think it was a compelling decision to take Liam Messina? No, I don't. I think it was a huge risk, despite the fact they might know him, and they were always going to be hostage to fortune behind it. So I don't think that was particularly compelling. But I do think some of the things and the way he looks at the structure of football and what he's trying to build towards, I think was. And people can pick the bones out however they want. Now, I look at this observation there, and it's very qualified because it has to be.
Right.
Because Chelsea are a big football club with big expectations. He knows that. He's the one that's writing the checks out. He's controlling Chelsea, not Bowley. He's making the
How
decisions.
damaging is it when a senior player, Fernandes, when he's away with the international team, starts to talk about we shouldn't have got rid of the previous manager?
I don't know if it was him. I think it was Cucurella said that, wasn't it? Or was it him too?
I was kind of both of them.
Yeah. Well, it's not great, is
one
it?
was punished. And the
I mean,
other
he's back in the side now, isn't he? And he's had 2 games thrown out, and he's taken the captaincy away from him. He had no business saying that, and that's a cultural thing. And that's really, if I'm the owner, I'd be quite unhappy with my manager. I'd be like, what kind of act are you putting on here? There's no control over these players. They can't say these sort of things. But we do know, irrespective of the rantings and ravings of people like me on the air, players now are licensed to do what they want. They're a law unto themselves. They say what they want, and they do it across all the dressing rooms. They did it in Liverpool's dressing room with Mo Salah. They've done it across the board. The only place that you don't see it done very often is this old club, and most of the time, or Manchester City.
Yeah,
because those clubs have a different way of operating and a different way of. You saw it at Man United. You see it, all the clubs, players come out and say things you think, well, I'm not sure that's the right thing to say. But going to Ed Barley's statement, he's qualifying it because Liam is making them qualifiers. Because
of the results.
Because of the results.
Right.
Because,
and one of those results, Simon, was Saturday, and United beat them in their own backyard. 4 days separated the sackings of Amorim and Enzo Maresca.
Maresca wasn't sacked.
Well, no, he quit. A departure